Hey guys, welcome back to the Veda Mindset Podcast. Today, I went on Instagram and I saw this girl's post. She was basically just like doing a photo shoot. And I was like, wow, what's this emotion I'm feeling? And it was envy. Envy basically is an emotion you feel when you see something that you want but believe you can't have. And that's the difference between inspiration, where inspiration, you see something you want and you believe you can have it, so it kind of cultivates a different type of emotional experience, more feels more expansive, where envy feels a little bit more constricting. And I kind of just wanted to go ahead and start talking about this feeling of envy, how it comes up, what that looks like in your mind and your body, and what to do about it. I firstly want to mention that you should never feel ashamed for feeling any of the emotions on the spectrum. All emotions are signals to you about who you are in relation to a subject and what you want for yourself. If you've ever opened up Instagram and felt this emotion of envy, I want to just break down really quick what is going on in your brain and body. So, whenever you go online and you see something that you want, or you see someone doing something that you want to do, it lights up your reward circuits in your brain. So, basically, the part of your brain called the ventral tegmental area, VTA, is going to release dopamine. And it's basically signaling, like, look at this is important. Then the dopamine travels to another part of your brain called the ventral striatum, which signals like, I want to do this, motivates you. Like, it's saying that I want to go and achieve whatever this is. And I think this is important to note. Dopamine isn't just what you feel when you have completed something, it's more so the motivation chemical that gets you to complete something. It's like pushing you, signaling, I want this, let's go do it. But this is where things start to kind of split. So if you have kind of like a subconscious belief or an inner wound that is indicating to you that something like this isn't possible for you, you can't achieve this, you're not good enough, your brain starts lighting up your threat system, your amygdala, and your brain starts releasing cortisol and adrenaline. So, first, you felt the dopamine. Let's move towards this. And then, right after you feel that threat response, the cortisol and the adrenaline kind of signaling, we need to move away from this is danger. And you kind of have this conflict, like approach or avoid, which then kind of affects your nervous system. So then your body starts feeling tight, or electricity, your chest tightens, maybe your mood drops, your heart's beating faster. And then after this is where all the narratives come up. Your ego mind will start placing narratives and stories over this whole entire emotional experience. And everyone's narratives look a little bit different depending on how your ego mind reacts to your wounds getting triggered. Some people will try to mitigate the trigger by one-upping the person in their head. Maybe like, oh, well, at least I have this and they don't have that, or whatever, like I could have done that better. Some other people have the opposite response, where they kind of just shut down and they just think, yeah, like I'm never good enough, I'm never gonna be like them, I hate who I am. So those are a couple different ways your storylines can go. And this is just your mind's way of trying to reduce the tension between what you want and what you believe is possible for you. So, enough times of this, what happens is you end up opening the app, feeling that dopamine, then feeling that threat, then closing the app and feeling low. It's like your mind, brain, and body end up developing a pattern when it comes to social media, or even seeing anybody at all succeed. And I say social media because online you see a lot of people posting their achievements and the parts of their life where they're succeeding in. But if your mind and body keep reacting that way, it will continue to reinforce this belief system that you are not good enough, you are behind, whether that be you're seeing someone online achieve something or you start seeing people around you in real life achieve something. But it all reinforces the same pattern. I just dial in on social media because everyone probably has felt this opening up social media. Like everyone's always on social media, online, always comparing themselves to others. And that's basically the pattern of what happened whenever I went online today and I saw that post. I got that dopamine. I was like, wow, like I want that. And then my amygdala and my unconscious wounds all triggered, and I started to feel tightness in my chest, and I started to have these narratives come up about, oh, like maybe like that's not possible for someone like me. I don't know if I could ever do something like that. And I explain this because I want you guys to understand that this is honestly probably a universal experience. Like it doesn't matter who you are. Like you could be like the top celebrity. you could kind of have it all, and your ego mind will still always try to compare you to other people if your inner wounds aren't healed. And also, the biggest thing with social media is like you go online and you see someone doing something and you feel that whole entire emotional experience I just expressed, that envy and how it like affects your mind and brain. But half the time, you don't really even want to do what that person's doing. You kind of just want to experience that feeling of admiration or that spotlight. And so you start to think, oh, like, how do I get to that admiration and spotlight? And you think like, oh, like maybe I should do what they're doing. And sometimes that's not actually what you want to do with your life. You want that feeling of admiration and that spotlight and that desire, which is also completely normal and a completely human experience. But sometimes we get confused because we see someone online doing something and then we think like, okay, like maybe I should do that. Like maybe I could do that. Like, am I meant to do that? And that's when we start to feel really inadequate because we're like, oh, like I don't have those skills. I don't have that. And this is the part where I ask myself, whenever I feel these emotions, when I go online, I ask myself, okay, what is it that I really want? What is this person's post or how they come off really indicating to me? Do I actually want to do what they're doing? Or do I just want to experience the feeling that I imagine that they are experiencing? Do I just want to experience what it feels like to feel admired and in the spotlight and desired? Because that is valid. Where we get confused is sometimes we don't want to do what that person's doing, but our ego mind is like, okay, like we should try that. We should do that. It goes online and starts looking at all of these characters, and you start evaluating yourself in relation to all these characters you see online. And that's when you start to feel inadequate because you're like, oh, like I want this experience of feeling admired and seen and in the spotlight, and look at how much attention they're getting. But I don't know if I could do any of these things. And also I don't want to do any of these things because there's a difference. Sometimes you see someone online doing something that you think is also going to give you that experience of feeling admired and desired and that spotlight feeling. And you want to do what they're doing. You just don't believe you're capable. That is separate than this next feeling that you feel like you want that admiration and that spotlight and that feeling of being desired, but you don't want to do it the way they're doing it. Like maybe you don't even have access to what they're doing online. Maybe what they're showing off isn't even something you really even care about. And that is a very important piece and something that you should always ask yourself. And what I started doing whenever I'm online and I see someone doing something that I think will give me a certain feeling, I ask myself, do I want the feeling that I think this would give me, like that feeling of admiration, or do I actually want to do what they're doing? Because that leads to two different paths. When it comes down to seeing someone and wanting to experience what you believe they're experiencing, that feeling of being admired, that feeling of popularity, that's all valid. But you have to understand that you're not going to always want to get to those emotions by what that person is posting or what that person is doing. And it's important to note that, because if you don't, you just find yourself like consistently copying people or desiring things that you don't actually want. They don't even feel like you. And at this point, what you need to understand is you can get to that same feeling of feeling admired or of feeling in that spotlight or feeling desired by doing what you want to do in life. Whatever you like to do, whatever craft you like, whatever skill you want to progress in, anytime you end up showing that to the world or revealing that part of you, there will be people who admire you for it. You will feel like you're in the spotlight. You can get to those experiences just by being yourself and putting time into your own craft, into your own skill, and kind of asking yourself, like, who do you want to be in your life? Like, what skills do you want to develop? What things do you want to post about? And it's important to get to the root of that, because if you don't, you're just gonna be trying to be anyone else but you, because you think you're not capable of just being yourself and getting recognition for being yourself. You're going to be trying on all these hats. You're going to be going online and being like, oh, well, that person got likes from posting that. Like, let me try that. Like, maybe like that'll make me feel better and more worthy. And it just leaves you in this endless chase. And I think that's why it's really important to realize that feeling of admiration that you're looking for, maybe that feeling of recognition online, that can always be cultivated by doing the things that you want to do in life. You don't constantly have to feel like you have to copy what everyone's doing online. And in regards to those of you who do see someone online doing something you want and do desire not just the emotions but what they're doing, like you want to experience the actual actions that person is doing online. You want to learn that skill. You want to be that model. You want to do that photo shoot. You want to be an actress. Like, you can get to all of those experiences as well. It just comes down to rewiring your beliefs, because what happens is you look at that person doing that online and immediately you know that you want that, but you start comparing yourself to that person and you start thinking, well, I don't know if I could do it like them. I don't know if that's even possible for me. And I need to clarify something. Anything is possible for you. In this world, you have so much opportunity. Your world is like your oyster. It just comes down to what you believe you're capable of and deserving of. But yeah, all the time I used to go online and I would feel a mix of that dopamine plus being triggered, and it wasn't fun. It actually feels really draining. And again, a lot of the confusion lied with I want to feel desired, admired, and wanted. What that person is posting is making me feel like if I do that, I will feel these emotions. You can feel those emotions no matter what. And yes, gaining traction online will naturally cultivate those emotions for you as well. You don't have to be ashamed for wanting it. And that's also something that I started to realize, like, people online have like this negative connotation of like, oh, like, wanting to be seen and admired is not humble, and it's like superficial. Like, you should just see yourself and know that you're confident and worthy without the attention. Like, that's also true, but you can't deny that social media and an audience that you create from there, it kind of helps you feel those emotions of feeling wanted and desired, and that's a completely normal desire to have if you want that, especially in this day and age where everyone's like making something of themselves online. If you want that, that's fine. It's just you have to develop a healthier relationship to that idea of having a platform and cultivating those emotions through the platform. But I say this in regards to the idea that you can feel those emotions of admired, being in the spotlight, by doing what you want to do in life. And anytime you see someone online doing something that you want to do and you start to feel triggered, that is the exact moment where you can practice feeling your emotions, acknowledging the fact that you are seeing something that you don't believe is possible for you, and offer yourself some grace. Begin writing down what happened in your life that made you feel like that. What was the first experience that you experienced that made you believe that things can't happen for you, that you can't be a different type of person. And also in these scenarios, you want to practice nervous system regulation, calming your body, because your body is the one that's feeling that threat the most, and then your mind is what attaches the narratives to it. Every time you're online and you start to feel those emotions, like, don't ignore it. Don't just close the app and don't think about it. Don't try to compare yourself to them in your head, because all of that is just it's reinforcing the same kind of negative thought loop and denser emotions and that feeling of unsafety in your body. And what you want to end up doing is start working through those triggers, working through your wounds, and kind of sitting with yourself after you see something online that kind of makes you feel like, oh, like, I want that, but I can't have that, and you have that feeling of envy. That is the perfect opportunity to sit with yourself and ask yourself, where is this emotion coming from? Like, pay attention to it. Don't spiritually bypass. Don't just think like, oh, like, no, I'm happy for them, like, I shouldn't think this way, and like close off the app, because until your body truly believes it, your new thought isn't doing anything. Like, your body has to believe your mind. And that's something I used to do a lot. Like, I would see someone online, like a friend of mine, doing these amazing things, and I would feel that emotion of envy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I actually love this friend. Like, why do I feel envy? It's because your ego mind doesn't evaluate your friendship. Like, your insecurities are separate from how you feel about your friend. Your ego mind is just looking at your friend and then evaluating yourself and saying you're not good enough. And then you start to feel envious. There's nothing wrong with that. What matters is your reactions next, and how you end up responding to these thoughts and emotions. But basically, what I would end up doing is kind of just like spiritually bypassing, or just like kind of just pasting a positive thought. I would go online, I would see a friend of mine or someone I knew that I liked as a person and I was proud of doing something, and then I would feel like envious, and I would feel like tight in my chest and feel like I'm comparing myself to them. And I would be like, no, like, I'm so happy for them. Like, what? This doesn't mean anything. And I would close off the app and go about my life. That is what I would call like spiritually bypassing, or like kind of overcompensate, like just using too much positivity to like overcompensate for these true denser emotions you're feeling. And I realized, like, oh, me just pasting a positive thought and being like, no, I am happy for my friend, like I don't know why I would feel this way, isn't healing my wounds. It's just me feeling guilty and ashamed about the envy, which leads into a plethora of more emotions and more denser experiences. And you don't need to feel ashamed about your envy. You don't need to feel guilt about your envy. Like I said, it's just a signal to you about who you believe you are in relation to that person or that experience that you want to experience. So whenever you are online, and even if you see like a friend doing something you want to do and then you start to feel envy, like, it's okay. Have compassion for yourself. You still love your friend. You're not shit talking your friend. Well, and if you are, like, that's what I said, that's a defense mechanism. So if you are shit talking your friend, like, just know that that's a defense mechanism. Your ego mind will try to cultivate defense thoughts for you to feel better about your triggers and that envy that you're feeling. But anyway, it's okay to feel that envy. Feel it, sit in it, locate in your body where it is, breathe into it, cry, move. This is like a lot of like deep like nervous system healing that I didn't anticipate I was going to talk about in this episode. But honestly, a lot of the healing comes down to nervous system work along with the new subconscious beliefs you want to create. But I really, really value body first, somatic healing first, nervous system first. I don't talk about it as much because I'm not an expert on it. Honestly, I do a lot of these things intuitively, and I don't want to teach something that I don't know if I logically know about, but I definitely love to actually research this a bit more, and the science behind the nervous system regulation I do, and the somatic type of healing I do, because all of this I kind of just do intuitively. But that's what's helped my new beliefs form and kind of developing a new thought process in relation to these wounds that I have. The last thing I want to touch on is social media in general. These feelings of envy come up a lot because of social media. And I think two main things is you're constantly scrolling and watching everyone post their success and their achievements, and you're not actively creating anything in your own life, which is another reason you feel that lack of motivation and that envy and that feeling of feeling drained. And then the other type of person is what I would consider myself, where I'm not scrolling on Instagram all the time. I'm very careful about why I'm online, what am I looking at. Like, I don't really spend my time scrolling at all. If I do anything, like, I'll probably watch like the first couple friends that pop up, but I'm very intentional with any action I take. I always have to ask myself, like, why am I looking at this? What is this giving me? Do I actually want to be here, or am I getting sucked in with the dopamine that Instagram is lighting up? And not lighting up, just the dopamine Instagram is triggering to be released in my brain. But in my case, like, I'm not scrolling all the time, but I will see a post or something that kind of triggers a wound in me and makes me feel that envy feeling. So a lot of this stems from social media, and you kind of just have to break everything apart. Like, first of all, if you fall into the first category, a big reason you sit in that envy is because you're constantly scrolling and you're not creating. You need to kind of put your phone down, make the world disappear for a second, and realize you are just as capable as everyone else online to create something as well. It's just harder to realize what you want to create if you're constantly filling and dumping things in your mind from social media. Because when you go on social media, you're not just looking at ideas, you're also triggering a lot of wounds if you haven't healed them. So you go online and like you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get an idea of what I want to create, and then suddenly you leave feeling like less than. Why? Because there are wounds that are being triggered just by you opening up the app. So it's ideal to kind of get your scrolling under control, your usage online, and spend more time with yourself and your own thoughts, asking yourself, what do you want? Because I guarantee you, when you start creating and you start going after what you want, you stop separating yourself from people you see online and you start feeling like you are one of the creators. It is possible for you. The reason why you feel envious is because you're not doing anything for yourself and you're constantly consuming. And in regards to those of you who use less social media but still have those feelings of envy, like that's completely normal human emotion. It's just a signal to you. And in those moments, you can practice compassion for yourself, nervous system regulation, and asking yourself, like, what is it about this person's post that I want to experience? Is it the emotion? Is it the recognition, or is it the skill? Like, what is it do you actually want to experience? Because it helps if you start breaking everything apart, because right now, like, your mind just kind of takes all of it and then stamps it as, we feel insecure, I feel envious, and let me just release my defense mechanisms right now. And that's what happens when you don't start seeing everything for what it is. No, like, I'm going on Instagram. This person is posting something from their life. I want to experience that skill. Maybe I want to try that skill. Maybe I want to try posting a picture like that. Or no, I kind of want to feel those emotions of admiration and that feeling in the spotlight. What can I do in my day that will bring me one step closer to that action or that emotion? And start responding like that. And I think if you have that approach, you start to heal those wounds. You start to listen to that signal of envy, and instead of just fucking drowning in that envy, you start to work with it. You start to ask yourself, like, okay, like, what do I want? What is this person showing me that I want to experience as well? Because truthfully, Instagram can be a really great place to see so many things that are possible for you. It's just about your perspective. But if you're overindulging, that's also not very helpful. But basically, this is all to say that feeling envy is a really normal human experience. And you don't have to feel ashamed of it, but just pay attention to what it's signaling to you. If you can realize that you can have what you're envious about, it just turns into inspiration. But you have to do the healing work. You have to ask yourself, like, what part of me believes that I can't have this? Like, where did I get that from? And how can I rewire my mind and body to realize that these things I'm seeing online are extremely possible for me? Because once you do that, you develop more resilience mentally, and your body doesn't feel triggered anymore going online, and you start to actually get more ideas and more inspiration from the people you see online. Again, like, social media, everything has its pros and cons. The social media itself is neutral. How you use it and how you interpret it is what either can help you in life or it can hurt you. And if it's hurting you, if going online all the time is hurting you and just constantly having you compare yourself to everyone and constantly making you feel like you're behind, I first want to let you know that it's an illusion. You know, people only post highlights of their life, and there's no behind or forward of anyone. That's also an illusion, because everyone's on their own unique path. But if going online is constantly going to elucidate those feelings and experiences in you, then it's maybe time to realize, like, let me get off my phone and kind of ask myself, what do I want to do with my life? What do I want to be in my life? Like, if I could post for fun, if I took away all the likes and stuff like that, what would I want to do? And get to know yourself. I guarantee you that once you do that, going online isn't going to feel as draining as it usually does. And for those of you like me who feel that envy from time to time, even online, like, again, completely normal experience, no need to feel ashamed. It's just a signal to you about what direction you want to take your life in or what emotions you want to feel. And after you realize that you can have it too, the world is like endless, like the opportunities are endless, you feel limitless, and you remember that you can be whatever you want to be. And people online and what they post remind you of so many things that are possible for you. Thank you guys for listening to this episode. I hope this helped you gain more knowledge of just what is going on emotionally when you feel envy, and just to remind you that it's okay. You don't have to feel ashamed about it. Everyone experiences it, especially in relation to social media. I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening.